Hey, welcome back, guys. All right, we got a 2013 Dodge Dart. This has got the 1.4 turbo. I started to take a quick look here at this thing. I scanned it for codes, and I'm going to show you what we got going on here. Go back into my Bosch. This car, I'll give you a little history. It was at another shop for work, a friend of mine's shop for something with the trans, or trans related, I should say. It's a younger guy that owns it. He changed some parts on the car to make it go fast. I don't know how fast a 1.4 Dodge is going to go, but in any case, this generation needs a lesson in muscle cars. This is not a muscle car. Anyway, we will take a look and see if we can figure out what's wrong with this thing. So I'm going to turn you guys around. And I don't know how well this is going to come out because of the glare, but I'm going to read it off to you. We have a PO243. We have a PO245. P0444 for evap. PO458. And the list continues here. Oxygen sensor, bank 1, sensor 1, heater, low circuit. Bank 1, sensor 2, heater, low circuit. They're all circuit codes, okay? When I see something like this, I think to myself, what did they touch? What did they tamper with here? What did they do? And again, I don't know if you could see, you were able to see that screen, but what I just basically was telling you is that we have circuit codes for a bunch of stuff. The kid told me he had installed aftermarket components on the vehicle because a forum told him it goes faster with that stuff. Unfortunately, this isn't like the 80s or 90s where when you bolt something onto a car, you know, you couldn't, you know, you really didn't do any damage by putting stuff on. Nowadays, putting an air filter, which this has a cold air intake and some other stuff, you can definitely cause problems. These cars are too sensitive and usually need to be dyno tuned once anything is changed like that. But we're going to see, being that we have circuit codes here, if there is anything related. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn you guys around and I'm going to try to show you where we're at. I've got my diagram, and the wastegate is my concern, right? I'm going to focus on that because it's accessible first. And if I find the problem with the wastegate, being that these are all circuit issues, I may fix all of the problems, okay? I don't want to chase this and go crazy, because if I start looking at these codes, it's this, that, you're going to start checking. Some guys like those trouble charts. I hate them. Most guys hate them that I know. If you start chasing through each one of those trouble charts, you're going to lose your mind before you ever check the car. Pick something. I'm picking this. I'm picking wastegate solenoid. And I'm going to go to that, and I'm going to look, and it's going to say 2 wires, right? Gray and white. ASD feed. That's gray. And wastegate solenoid signal. All right, so that's your control side of the solenoid from the PCM. I don't even need the rest of the diagram here to figure that out because it tells you right here. But I need the rest of the diagram to know where this circuit originates, okay? And also, while I'm here, I don't know if you guys can see that line here, that spliced line. These are all connected. So this goes to, I'm having a OBD2 vent valve, turbocharger surge valve. Oh, wait a second. No, I'm sorry. Deep 6, that one. It doesn't go to that. It goes to this. And it goes across, which I don't have the rest of that, which we don't need. But we're going to look here, gray. And this continues and goes to oxygen sensor, bank 1, sensor 2. What do you know? It also goes to oxygen sensor, bank 1, sensor 1. Wow. Already we have something in common here, don't we? We have a feed that is common. This thing also changes color, just so you're aware. There's a, where are we? There's a splice point here, and it changes from gray to brown and gray. So be careful of those color changes on wiring. I'm going to switch back here to the first page, and I'm going to look for my brown and gray now, because that's the original color right here that feeds all of that. And look, it goes to a fuse, what is that, 87. Fuse 87 in the underhood junction block. Okay, well, let's go check for power at the solenoid and see if we have it, and we'll start there. All right, guys, I got you set up as best I can. I already got the cover off here, and I disconnected the solenoid, which this is the plug for it. And I'm going to check. I have the key on. It is the gray wire, so I have to see. They're hard to see. This is gray. Let's see here. And I have nothing. I have no power. Make sure my test light works. Yes, it does. Okay. So our next step, I'm going to swing you guys around. My next step is going to be, I'm going to go to the fuse box here, find fuse 87. Fuse on. Oh. Guess not. All right. Fuse. Where am I? 87. Fuse 87. Fuse 87. Which way? Am I looking this way? That's the relays. Fuse 87 is a 10 amp. It's this one. Wow, okay. Well, that fuse is certainly blown, and that fuse will, see if I put it in, if it pops the fuse. No. Key is on. I do have power there from the ASD relay. That's how it gets the power to that fuse. Let's swing you guys back around here again and take a look and see if, I think it was that one, right? Gray. Yeah? Yeah. Okay, we have power there. All right, so as I was rudely interrupted before by a cheap piece of crap water line blowing up in my face, I had no choice here but to use a hydraulic fitting. That's all we had that I could get. Everything else is not available, not from the dealer, not from anywhere, not for today or for the next couple of days. So this will hold something like 600 or 6,000 psi. So I think this will do a little better than Chrysler's original design anyway. It's going to have to work for now, and I got to get this car going so I can test it further and make sure what's going on here. When we left off, we had a fuse blown, right? 10 amp, which controls, or powers, I should say, a bunch of things, including the O2s, the wastegate solenoid, vent solenoid, I believe, some other miscellaneous equipment on the car. So where I'm at now is we need to figure out if the fuse is going to continue to blow or not. I don't know if this is an intermittent issue. This was never even diagnosed as a blown fuse from the other places that it was at. So we're going to see where we're at. I'm going to get myself in position here, start the car, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, I got you facing the fuse box. I'm going to start this thing up. Hopefully the camera doesn't go for a ride. Let's see if our fuse blew. No, it did not. No, it did not. Okay, let's do this, guys. I'm going to go back into my Dodge here, and I'm going to clear the codes. Now that we have a functioning circuit, as far as we can tell at least. Now there's a couple things I can do here. This fuse did not blow when I started the car up. That doesn't mean anything. That does not mean that we don't have a short to ground. The only thing that's going to blow a fuse is short to ground, right? So that could be an internal solenoid that's shorted. It could be an O2 that's bad. It could be a wire that's touching someplace. We don't know. All right, so now we have no codes. What I can possibly do is I can go to my special tests. This is one thing that may help us here. I don't know if it will, because don't forget, solenoids may not be commanded all the time, right? They're not going to be on all the time. So if we toggle, depending on what they have here that we can do, let's see. Surge valve, no, that is not on there. Wastegate solenoid. Okay, so we can go to the wastegate solenoid. So if this thing is very sensitive. Okay, the engine is off. Don't worry. Don't worry. Okay, so if I toggle this and it blows that fuse, what is that telling me? It's telling me that I have a problem with the solenoid, right? I'm going to take a run out there and listen and see if I could hear this thing or not. Okay, that solenoid is absolutely toggling on and off. Fuse is not blown. O2 heater. These are also on that circuit. Now the heaters should have come on when I turned on the when I started the vehicle up. Okay, so normally anyway they should have. I'm going to do this anyway. All right. Oops. Big dummy. Let's do that again. All right, so it is counting down. I do not think this thing most likely has an intermittent where you know, the wire may be rubbing someplace. I'll try the purge. That's also on that circuit. See, purge. Okay. Purge was absolutely working. So what's next? Well, next I'm going to do a visual. I'm going to take a look under there and see if I see anything, and if I do, I will get the camera back on and we'll go from there, okay? All right, guys. So as we all know, when you have a blown fuse like this, you obviously have something, as I said before, shorted to ground, okay? There's definitely a short. The key with this stuff is to try to get to the root cause as quickly as possible, like always, right? So what I did was I allowed this thing to cool off a few minutes, and I came back to it and I started going around to harnesses and wiggling things, and sure enough, the new fuse also popped, if you can see that. All right, so at that point I installed this, which is a circuit breaker. I'm going to set the circuit breaker back on, and this will blow obviously like a 10 amp fuse. I'm going to reach inside here, turn the key on, and right now this circuit has not popped. All right, when it pops, this will open. I'm going to go down to where I saw this thing blow the fuse. I'm going to wiggle, and there it is. Oh, this thing is easy now to find, huh? It's easy after you find it. I want to point this out to you guys and show you where it's at, but it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be very hard to get in there, I think, to show you, but I'll try my best. I'm gonna lay my light down here. I'm gonna get the camera, and again, guys, I do my best here to, you know, to show what I can. Some of these things are very, very difficult to get to. If you look at the tube here, all right, and you look at that, there's a connector right here. Follow the harness back. If I'm really hoping I can get a good shot. If I can. Yeah. All right. If you can see here, there's a bracket, and that wiring harness is pinched on the bolt, or stud, I should say. So I've got to get this tube, try to get this out of my way, or maybe, well, you know what? I don't know if I'm going to be able to film this. Let me see if I can shut the camera off. I'm going to get down here with a socket and a small ratchet, and I'm going to try to take that off, and I'll show you what I see at that point. Okay? It's kind of hard to film this. I can't lay over the camera like this and work. So, hang tight. Alright guys, there are words for this car that I can't use on YouTube, but I guess that's beside the point. This is the harness that I was showing you guys previously. Try to get you a better shot here. There you go. And if you see, there's one of them crushed and chafed. Okay, this one here also, it's very hard to see, but it is chafed. The harness did not get pinched enough to break anything, which is good. I could pull on this. There's no breaks. It just chafed the insulation enough where obviously caused an issue blowing the fuse. So maybe able to just tape this up. I'll insulate it with a little bit of what do you call, some of that liquid tape, and then I'll tape it up over that so that way it gets a good seal, and we'll put it back in the proper location down there. If I can get my hand back in there, when I get feeling back in my hand, that is. And at that point we should be all right. So we'll road test it and verify everything is okay. But if you have a drain, I'm sorry, if you have a drain, if you have a short, a dead short in a car, or I should say a fuse that blew in a car, you have a short someplace. Okay, fuses don't just go bad for no reason. I've never seen that in my life. So if it's not doing it when you have the vehicle in possession, it's an intermittent. So harness issue, something like that. You know, can it intermittently be something else? Yes, it can. Of course, something could be drawing too much sometimes, shorting sometimes. Anything's possible with electrical or mechanical things, right? My point is, if you have a blown fuse, expect it to blow again. If it doesn't do it immediately, it will do it down the line. So look into the circuit and see what's on that circuit, pull a diagram, and go through the system as best you can. This one here, like I said, it's in a bad position down there. It's hard to get to. That's why I didn't film it, but this is absolutely a dead short to ground. And the way it was rubbing, it would do it, you know, it would make contact with the bracket at times, and then at other times it would not. And you could see that is, I don't know if you could see it, but I could see it. It's chafed through pretty good right there. So, yeah, we're gonna fix that, get this thing back together, and we should be good to go. All right, so again, I don't know how much you're gonna be able to see here, but if you look at that yellow connector down there and follow the harness back, it is now where it's supposed to be. It is no longer rubbing against anything, and it's insulated, and we're going to turn the key on. Again, I'm going to verify that I no longer have short to ground. Here's my circuit breaker that's tripped. I'm going to put it back, find my key. Key is on. All right. Everything looks all right now. I don't see any other gremlins here that are going to short us out. I'm going to go find the fuse, pop it in, and try it out. All right, guys, remember, if you're going to put a fuse in, make sure they look like this with the bright white numbers on them. Don't use those cheap see-through fuses. You'll pay more later when you find the smoke. Okay. Key on. We'll go back inside here and we will clear codes. We should have codes in here. Okay. Clear the DTCs. Don't forget now these codes did return instantly before. Okay. Let's make sure we're clear. We'll start her up. Good to go. Fire her up. Okay, and the first thing we notice is we got no check engine light. That's a good thing because that light was on instantly, like I said. Trying to get you guys a clear view here of what I'm seeing, but the glare is not fighting me. So go one more time here. We'll just check for codes just to see if anything. I don't think is going to have any issues here, but I like to go through it again. No codes, and it's going to be a fix because as long as that fuse wasn't blowing, it was not setting a code. So all that's left now is to button it up, put the cover back on, take it for a road test, make sure that everything else is good to go, and we'll ship it. All right, guys, so that's about it for this one, I guess. Of course, if the light comes back on and we have an issue, I'll let you know. I don't think so. I think we got it. Short to ground, you know, kind of typical type of diagnosis for something like this. You know, go through the circuit, see what you can find, wiggle test. If you can, I recommend using the proper amperage circuit breakers instead of a fuse when you have an intermittent short, because you'll be going through a lot of fuses otherwise, and you know, it saves time of replacing them. Obviously, just let the circuit trip and, you know, reset it and keep going along with your diag. Definitely recommend them. Good tools, and that's really about all I can say about this one. We're gonna get it buttoned up and shipped. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Appreciate the support. Keep watching. See you guys later.